Step off that exhausting hamster wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marissa.
Promise you joy in the mystery.
Dr. Marissa, also known as the Asian Oprah. Her mission, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate to live, laugh, love, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa A.
And welcome. You are tuned into Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on NBC News and CNBC News and NBC Sports radio station KCAA, AM 1050, FM 102.3, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, TuneIn, Podchaser, Rumble, Tiki Live, Amazon Music, Audible, and more. I'm Dr. Marissa, your celebrity host, producer of the show about hope and happiness. So there's no gossip, no scandal, and no K-words, no Kanye talk at all. Instead, I want you to focus on your own reality show and how you can be happy 88% of the time. Why 88? Well, if you're 100% happy, you're dead. So I don't want you dead. I want you most of the time happy. 8 is a lucky number in Chinese. I know you thought I was Swedish, but 88 means double good fortune as well. So I'm here to make sure you claim your birthright to happiness. And we start with the gratitude sandwich. And because I have so many stories today, we're just going to do one gratitude. And Sam gets a break. And my one gratitude is for yesterday's amazing, so special 9-year anniversary, 521 consecutive weeks on the air, 691 shows in the can, and I'm just tickled and delighted. What an amazing guest, Morgan Most, who's the wife of Don Most, who you'll know as Ralph Malph from Happy Days. Can't think of better guests for a happy show than those two, and it was so beautiful. She has Parkinson's, and she talked about how to not let the beast, is what she calls the disease, win, and especially poignant because my mom has it, and I'm on my way to Toronto after I go speak and record a little more. I'll be in the airport tonight on my way there. And remind me to tell you all the great guests. I could have done repeats, but for you, I have 2 weeks of brand new shows, from a chef to motivators to doctors. So all of those, if I remember, I will tell you their names. And also the cast of a new show that I got invited to do about boobs. So Breastival is coming up. That show is this coming week, and I am so, I want to invite you to that show. If you just put in Sonia Jackson, and it is, I'll go get the exact link for the tickets. But I am Debbie, not Debbie Does Dallas. Debbie does not do Dallas, but I actually talk about cleavage, nipples, and I have a Harry Met Sally moment. So that should be scintillating enough for you to go and get the tickets. That show is May 14th. So without further ado, though, today I have so many amazing stories from this epic moment on stage with the gangs of LA in peace, to moms who lost their kids through murder. And I learned a valuable lesson there, as well as March for Marrow. And if we have time, I actually just put it up. The mayor of LA gave me a 9-year congratulations, and then a Mother's Day preparatory. I was up till 3 a.m. making sure y'all had new shows. So you're gonna have to forgive me if I lose a little bit of the sharpness this morning. I'm still waiting for the coffee to kick in. But a Mother's Day message that we're going to start with to help you prepare for upcoming Mother's Day. So here she is.
Morning, so it's going to be a supercharged, Very sweet morning at my house, but I am so ready. I am here for it.
Good morning, show. And I have a special guest today. Mother's Day is coming soon and promises to be more special than ever as families come together in person to celebrate mom. Joining us today is Supermom, tech and lifestyle journalist Anna D'Souza, who is here to share tips for making sure that Mother's Day celebrations are a success. Welcome, Anna D'Souza.
Thank you for having me. Excited to be here with you. It's a big day for you.
It is a big day. 9 years, 521 consecutive weeks, and 621 shows later, I'm still here. So I'm delighted that you're here to celebrate with me, especially because Mother's Day is coming up. So what's your favorite memory from Mother's Day?
Well, my twins just turned 3, and I feel like we're gearing up for the best Mother's Day yet. They're understanding the concept of events and holidays and parties, so I'm hoping that it involves a lot of glitter and glue that Dad will be cleaning up after. But they're already pretty heavy-handed with those chocolate chips on any Sunday morning, so it's going to be a supercharged, very sweet morning at my house, but I am so ready. I am here for it.
Wonderful. So what's a good place to start with Mother's Day?
Of course, well, you can't go wrong starting with a toast that includes Reedley Family Wines, the makers of Madalena wines and Stella Rosa wines. They have 3 very unique rosés that you could treat mom to a brunch pairing. We've done all the work for you. Now, their classic Stella Rosa rosé has rose petal notes, delicious with fluffy red velvet pancakes. But if mom leans a little bit more savory, their fully sparkling rosé is delicious, has these citrus undertones, so good with chicken and waffles. And finally, their Madalena Rosé has these bright raspberry and peach undertones, so good with a classic cheesy quiche.
What are some other ways to celebrate this special day?
Of course, well, Save-A-Lot is your one-stop shop to celebrate Mother's Day this year. And if you're looking to put out a spread, and you absolutely should, here's what you'll find from Grissom's Baked Goods. They have delicious cheesecakes, muffins, cookies, all to satisfy mom's sweet tooth, made with fresh quality ingredients and a value that mom will absolutely appreciate. It really is your go-to for all of your grocery essentials and your refrigerated bakery items on Mother's Day, but truly any day.
Those look very good. My saliva just started up.
Okay.
So how about a unique gift suggestion?
Of course. Well, how about a conversation starter? Check out these gorgeous ebony cutting boards here from Stella Falone. They are sustainably sourced, and get this, they're actually a new sister company of Taylor Guitars, the #1 acoustic guitar brand in the world, played by artists like Billie Eilish and Zach Brown. Now, building a guitar is kind of like building a puzzle. So what Stella Falone does is they refashion those pieces that don't quite fit on a Taylor instrument into these gorgeous kitchen showpieces. Everything is ethically sourced in Cameroon, so your purchase supports local employees there, as well as the replanting of thousands of ebony trees. And because Mother's Day is truly around the corner, they're offering free expedited shipping, which I absolutely love.
Fantastic. Do you have any other suggestions for pampering moms? Because I am one.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, as a part of Olay's commitment to elevating stories of women of color, they've just launched their Fearless Artist series. Check this out. This is a collection of 3 different body washes developed by women of color with the unique needs of diverse skin in mind. This gorgeous artwork was created by African-American artist Avery Williamson, and I love these formulations that are going to nourish, restore, balance the skin with prestige ingredients like vitamin C, petrolatum, manuka honey, so good. You could pick these up at Target, Walmart, and Meijer for under $8. So truly a great gift of self-care for mom on Mother's Day.
Fantastic. I love the colorful woman angle as well, especially we just came out of Black Women's History Month, going into Asian Pacific Islander. And I know you thought I was Swedish, but I'm actually Chinese. And I'm going to say we're going to go away from yellow to golden. That's my new term for the Asian. So where can we go for more information about all of these great products?
Yeah, well, for anything we talked about today, you can head on over to tipsontv.com.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Anna. It's been wonderful meeting you. I'm going to wish you the best Mother's Day
Thank you.
ever.
You too, and congratulations again.
Thank you. Is off. I'm sorry. I hope you enjoyed that. She is a great Mother's Day prepper, and you can find all of her information as she mentioned. And for Mother's Day, I'm actually bringing back two of my favorite Mother's Day shows while I'm in Canada. One is with the beautiful Barbara Marks Hubbard, who my other past guest, secret teacher Neil Donald Walsh, calls the mother of invention. She has since passed. She's in heaven with my dad, but her message is still timely. And I just love watching that particular interview because we got to surprise her for Mother's Day and have her daughter call in. So don't worry, I got Mother's Day covered. That's before the weekend. And then afterwards is one of my favorite guests that I talked about yesterday, Marion Ross, who is the mother on Happy Days. So I thought that was perfect. Marion Ross, Mrs. Cunningham. So that'll be after. And here are some other shows that I wanted to highlight. Chef Audrey is coming on tomorrow. He's a celebrity chef. And then the Breastival, It's All About the Girls, a cast that's coming up. And one of the cast that's with me in the interview is Florence LaRue, who's one of the Fifth Dimension. If you remember, when the moon is in the... And then that's it. I'm horrible with words. But she's on, as well as Kayla Caulfield, who is an actress from the award-winning movie Coda this year. So that's going to be a great show. And then Mother's Day I told you about. And then we have a motivator. He sounds just like me, except he's white and bald. But we're both from Canada. His name's Tony Child, as well as Phyllis Iman. She's going to talk about aging and how to look at it magnificently. And then Dr. Nick Delgado, who has a book called Disease Hacking, so all about health. Dr. Tiffany Moore, who's got a beautiful book of poetry that came out of her life experiences. She was a doctor. She came out of Compton. That's an amazing interview and story. Lynette LaRoche, who is helping women who are in their 50s come into, working not for someone else's dreams, but their own. So those shows will all be taking care of you while I'm in Canada, in Toronto, visiting and taking care of my mom, Rose, who is with Parkinson's, and it's gotten a little worse. And so I'm going to spend a nice 2 weeks there, try not to work. So that's why I was up till 3 a.m, making sure those shows were in the can. All right. Now, some of you know that I do on-location work for a New York news agency, and a lot of the clips that you see on the local news are mine. And there's no byline, and I'm not in the picture because I just supply it and I cover wherever they tell me to go. But the best thing about the job is that those stories that just touch my heart, I put a little clip together, little mini movie, and bring it to you here. So this last Saturday was an amazing day. It starts with a march for Marrow, so enjoy this.
Good morning, this is Dr. Marissa. You know me as the Asian Oprah, and I'm reporting live in Long Beach at the Shoreline Village with a really worthy event to cover. You know I like to balance out all the bad news out there with some good news. And I have a couple of doctors that I just got a soundbite from. Here's one.
Hello.
If you could introduce yourself and tell me why you're here.
I'm Noah Marin. I'm a hematologist, and we are here to support patients and families who are receiving treatment for aplastic anemia and myelodysplastic syndrome.
And this is a fundraiser?
Yeah, it's a fundraiser for the AAMDS Foundation.
And people probably don't even know about bone marrow diseases, so what is the most important thing to know?
Well, So aplastic anemia is an autoimmune disease where the person's immune system attacks their bone marrow and eliminates blood production. So the treatment, in some cases, is to replace their immune system with the immune system of a donor.
Okay.
So that's what a bone marrow transplant is. It's actually, in this case, it's actually an immune system transplant. The bone marrow needs to be protected from immune attack.
Okay.
And the only way to do that is to replace the immune system.
Wow. Symptoms, like anyone who might know someone or have some symptoms, what's the key one?
Very low blood counts, anemia, low platelets, low neutrophils, and poor immune function. So people can get fatigue, bleeding, or infections as initial presentation.
Right. And in the healing process, or in the fixing, I don't know the technical word, I'm a PhD, not an MD, what is the number one factor besides the transfusion? I'm looking for maybe an attitude or an outlook that is the best that you've seen in your patients?
I mean, the family support that allows a patient to go through a stem cell transplant is really critical to doing it successfully. Because the process takes a year.
Wow.
So there's about 2-3 months of getting ready, finding a donor, and making sure that it's safe to do it.
Right.
And then afterwards, it's really intensive monitoring to make sure that the new immune system doesn't cause problems.
Wow, that's fantastic. This is Dr. Marissa reporting live with Dr.
Marin.
If you could say and spell your name, please.
Lynn Lunsford, LYNNLUNCEFORD.
And why are you here today?
I'm here because middle of last year, my husband was diagnosed with myelodysplastic syndrome, and so when I found out about the run to help support that group, I came out to do the run.
Oh, that's so great. And how's your husband doing?
Better. He's in and out of the hospital. So he had like a tooth infection 2 weeks ago, and that, because he has no white cells, of course, that took him into the hospital with sepsis. So little things can really knock him out. But he's got great energy, and so he's doing better.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I am a physician. I've taken care of aplastic anemia and MDS and PNH patients for over 25 years, and I've been a member of the medical advisory board for over 20. So I know these diseases, I know the patients, I love them.
Isn't it cool when the
I wanna do
doctors
everything I
come
can
out?
to support them and their families.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Everybody for coming out today, and then as Stephanie mentioned, we have Be the Match, we have the bone marrow registry, and I just wanted to point out, so this is...
I'm going to skip ahead here because we've got so much footage. I talked to him in a minute. All right, here's the start of the race. And here we go.
All right.
Oh, I missed the horn. Hold on. There we go.
Dr. Marissa, you know me as the Asian Oprah, reporting live here in Long Beach, Shoreline Village, for a great event that's bringing awareness and raising funds for people who you may not be aware of, who have issues, temporary challenges, with bone marrow. And I have a young man here who's going to help educate me on what this is all about and how you can help. Who are you? And what do you want? Kai?
And we're bringing awareness to March for Marrow so people can find matches for themselves, and hopefully if you find a match, then save someone's life.
Yeah, so you yourself had, at what age did you find out you had something?
I was in second grade.
Second grade, about 7 years old, or
8, yeah.
7 or 8. And then what happened?
Then I had to start chemotherapy and do a lot of bone marrow transplants to try to find a match. But I ended up going with the chemotherapy. But if I would have found a match, then I would have been able to.
How did you know you were not well?
I started getting huge bruises around my hips and stuff, so you could tell that I had low platelets because that's one of the things that is side effects with red blood cells.
Right, and how did that, did you freak out, or what was the reaction, and how have you been able to be, you're very positive, so how have you met this challenge?
we're always very positive through it. You know, we're surrounded by such good doctors and people around us that made it.
He's in gratitude.
Yeah. And sometimes do you feel like bad about what happened to you, and how do you talk yourself out of that?
I don't feel bad. You know.
Yes.
It's a positive.
Isn't that
thing to be able
amazing?
to, you know, beat it and, you know.
That's so awesome. And how old are you now?
I am 19.
Awesome. So
19 teenager that doesn't
I
feel
ask all
bad
my
about
guests,
having to go
what is
through
the one thing
chemotherapy.
that you're most grateful for?
Definitely, just all the people in the community coming together, and it was just so huge for us.
Oh, that's wonderful. Thanks so much for talking to me. I do this at the end of the show, which is peace. So I just had an interview with his son, and now he started explaining to me what was going on. What is your name?
My name is Gus Quinones.
And tell me exactly what you were just saying about finding treatment and solution.
So there's different options for different patients that have either aplastic anemia or any bone marrow failure. So with Kai, we didn't have a match. So we were, you know, the society, the AAMDS, they were wonderful because they helped us. We went to Wisconsin. We were finding the right doctor for bone marrow transplant options. Kai was actually accepted at NIH, so we went back to Bethesda, Maryland for another treatment option. But it's just, you just keep the hope and keep the faith, and it worked out really well because at the end of the day, we ended up with what suited us best and what worked best for him. It's just nice to know that this organization helps, you know, they come out of nowhere when you're really in that really bad time of need. And that was really special to us, and it meant a lot to us, and it helped navigate what we needed to, you know, for his survival.
Great.
So, and it's great because he's 19, almost 20, and
That's
now he's
awesome.
a stud, you know.
Yes, he is. I'm so glad I got to interview him. Thank you so much.
You're
Now
welcome.
it's my turn to talk to the dad and why the
With the organization AA, what was going to happen with, you know, we have
only 30%.
Skip ahead
the bone marrow.
because there's one more interview here that I wanted you to see. That was with the organizer. Here we go.
The other bone marrow failure disease.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And good morning. This is Dr. Marissa reporting live in Long Beach. You know me as the Asian Oprah, and you know that I like to balance out the bad news with some good news. And I have two beautiful women here. It's no accident that I get to interview you because it's just the last day of Black Women's History Month. And I'm so glad that I caught up with you. Could you tell me your name and why you're here?
Okay, my name is Joan Durnell Powell, and I'm here because I'm a survivor. I'm fighting for a disease called myelodysplastic syndrome, MDS, and it's a blood cancer. And basically, my bone marrow is not operating properly, so we're raising awareness of others that are similar in my walk.
And she's been identified as the champion this year for honoring and this fundraising march, and I have the organizer as well. And your name is?
Stephanie Ham.
And why are you doing this?
Well, we lost a son to this disease. He was diagnosed in 1987 in a small town in Texas. My husband was Air Force, and we were stationed up in North Texas, and they thought it was cancer. It's kind of diagnosed now a little bit as cancer, but they had no idea what it was. Garrett was an incredible athlete. By the time he passed away, when he was 28, he could not walk upstairs. And it's our way of honoring him and honoring parents who had this look, what is this, and how can I help, what can I do?
Thank you so much for sharing your heart with me. Tears are the disinfectant that keep our hearts soft. And there's another reason why this is special, because I didn't realize my father also passed of lymphoma. And I had no idea that this was part of the story. So it is so, like, not an accident that I'm here covering this story, because it is important, and I think that it's wonderful that you're taking your time and your energy, especially, you know, what you've been doing as leaving a legacy for your son. So thank you for that. Be the match is the call to action here, because I didn't realize that only 30% of families have a match to the donor.
Well, and
I mean, as a donor.
particularly in the minority communities too, Asian, Hispanic, African American for sure.
Okay. So how does that hit you?
Very impactful, and part of my advocacy is to reach out to my brothers and sisters as well as the other minorities and low-income communities to let them know about the foundation, because a lot of this is based on not being aware that there are organizations out there that will step in and support you.
Wow, that's so cool. So the last question I usually ask on my show of my guests is, to who or what are you most grateful for? To who or what are you most grateful for? We'll start with you.
I would say in this instance, this foundation, because there just were no answers. And I have a lot of other gratitude for other people, but the foundation definitely.
Fantastic.
And I would echo that also. They were my first initial contact in reference to learning more about the disease and support out there for us.
Beautiful. Well, I hear the runners coming back, so we're going to capture that. This is what I do at the end of every truly one of those like non-accidental reasons I covered that. My father did passive lymphoma, and I didn't get the connection with the bone marrow, but until the young man said bruises on his body, and that's how my father found out as well. So bethematch.org, please, especially if you're a person of color, go, and it's a very easy process to they send you swabs and all of that to be a match. You do have to be under 40, I believe. So just so you know, but I'm sure you know a lot of people under 40 who could benefit and help this really great organization. So the next story is truly epic. I'll let it
representation
speak for itself
on this stage from all the surrounding tribes that are here today. And I feel like y'all should just, at that point, stop what you're doing and put your hands together, because this is what Black unity look like right here. No, y'all need to get louder than that, because we're complaining about shooting, we're complaining about killing. We need to learn how to celebrate the love.
This is huge. This is big.
Yes.
Beautiful.
My brother literally showed them how to have unity. I'm gonna stand out the way because I want y'all to take a picture of this right here. Media, I want you to get that.
Come up front and get this.
That's so amazing.
I want y'all to see this.
History. We are witnessing history. Beautiful.
Reporting live here in Los Angeles. It's an historic moment we have.
This is love right here.
This is what that is, yes.
This is love right here. I got my, look at all the people that how close they didn't got. This is the main attraction right here. This is the main attraction. Yes.
Where the paparazzi at?
Yeah, it was really disappointing. The majors were not there.
This is a media moment.
They cover gang violence, they cover the riots, but they don't come for this epic moment of peace.
But God is doing something different than what we had on paper. He's doing something different right now. And what I want to do is, before we pray, I would like to have one representative from each of the tribes that's here just take a good 60 seconds and spread some love.
Come on.
All right? Okay, hold on a second. Let me make sure we get a mic.
So with that said, only thing I'm gonna ask for everybody here today is be the change that you want to see. I come from this community. I was destructive in this community. I did 30 years in prison on triple life sentence because I was destructive in this community.
Wow.
I'm honored to be here today. Somebody said it looks good, this shit feels good. You know what I'm saying? So we need to see the relationships.
I'm Souza Mike from Broadway, but today I'm standing here. 30 years ago I stood here and I wasn't with no peace. I wasn't with it, but I wasn't against it. I wasn't with it, but I wasn't against it. I was like, damn, you gonna see all these heads, all these people that don't ran me somewhere, or I ran them, or, you know, exchange gunfire and all that. But today, man, look at here, man. Look at us. Look around, look at y'all, man. We got the faux deuces, the faux trays. Standing with the 5 trays and the East Coasters and the Broadways. Come on. We got the Villas and the Pueblos out here. Come on.
Come on, Caesar Mike.
You know what I'm saying? We all out here together, man. And I can remember back some years ago when we all was in elementary school when we was together. Somewhere around the bottom on this east side. But today, man, this is a blessing right here, man. This is a blessing. And I just want to say to the youngsters, a lot of y'all saying that y'all not with the peace, I ain't with this, I ain't with that. But you know what? The peace that we trying to push, it ain't for us old dudes right here. It's for y'all. Come on. 'Cause I can go anywhere. I can go anywhere. You know what I'm saying? So just acknowledge that and take it, you know what I mean, with a grain of salt. And, you know, let's just keep this peace going. Keep this peace going. With that, I work with Urban Alchemy. We hire long-term offenders.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? They don't care what kind of record you got.
Come on.
Go over there and get a job. Put them guns down. Put that dope sack down.
Yes.
Go over there and get a job.
Yes.
Urban Alchemy.
Yes.
Human resources right here. My boss right here. Go there and sign up.
That's crazy, homie. I ain't never been in this park. I ain't ever came on this side unless it was some dumb shit. You feel what I'm saying? People been in the penitentiary. They drive these low riders, these motorcycles. They doing the same shit. They don't want to call it peace. You tell me what it is.
Not a double OG, but I'm a triple OG, and everybody knows me from 20 Outlaws. And I'm here representing. Flew from Oklahoma just to be here today. Okay? But let's keep the peace. Let's keep it right. I mean, it's a lot of resources out there. It's a lot of things to do. You don't.
We love everyone. We love all ethnic groups, but the black people could come together in unity. And we invited the mayor to come out of here, and without any hesitation, he showed up. And we want him to see what's going on out here. I want to let our councilman who put this thing together just bring him up.
I'm Kern Price. I'm the councilman from the new name. And what I see here is some new you and some new us. And we're here for the right reason. You know, we have a lot to be grateful for, but we're not wallowing in the past. We're looking toward the future. And that's what this event is about. Commitment to this community, this commitment to our efforts to move the needle forward. So without further ado, let's hear from our mayor on this historic occasion. This is history, don't you agree? This is history. You're a part of it, I'm a part of it, and he's a part of it. Mayor Eric Garcetti.
Thank you. A man who has come with a vision, a councilman, an assembly member, a state senator, but more than anything else, a good human being. Somebody who believes that all of us are made by God in his reflection. And isn't God good today? Look up here. Yes. Isn't God great today? Yes. I want to thank he's talking about what happened. Today we're celebrating what didn't happen because of peace. Think about that for a second. We can count those we have lost, but you can never count those that are still here. You can give statistics for every homicide we've had, but you can't count the living. But this stage has brought life to this city, and we are here as testament to that today. Is where the power is. When we join hands together across cliques, across streets, across neighborhoods, we can do anything. But we have to make a decision 30 years on, will we do it again? Because when these were all young men and women, and you're still looking pretty young, I can say younger, they had courage. There's a lot of fear out there still in our youth. Fear that they have been discarded. Fear that they have been forgotten. Fear that they don't have potential. Fear that they will be overlooked because of who they are. It is our role to give hope where that fear is. to give help to the helpless, hope to the hopeless. It's why we say community college shouldn't cost you a single dime, because education is a right, and we boost by 40% the number of kids in our public schools that go to college. It's why black incomes have gone up 44% in 8 years, while in this nation they've only gone up 25%, and brown incomes 43%. So if we're ready to come to community, if we're ready to breathe peace, let us find that peace now.
That was truly epic, and it's one of the most poignant news moments of my life to see all of those rival gangs up on stage. You saw them hugging in the video, and I'm just still amazed that I was there to witness that, and that's the power of peace. And I was really blessed to get a soundbite from Mayor of LA congratulating me on 9 years. It's all over my social media, so you can watch that. I don't have time to show it here, but Doc Balance on Instagram and Dr. Marissa everywhere else. This final clip I really wanted to be able to show you is important because I learned a lesson the hard way, and I hope you learn it with me. It's an important one when we are talking to mothers who have lost their children to murder. I covered this event, and enjoy.
Know that I love to bring you stories that highlight people who are taking something that is bad that happened and using it to alchemize us into the light. And I found a wonderful woman here who founded a very important organization called Laura, and I didn't say it like you did because it'd be great if you could introduce yourself and explain what you're doing here today.
So my name is Adela Barajas, and I founded an organization named Laura, Life After Uncivil Ruthless Acts, in memory of my sister-in-law and her mother, who were both innocent bystanders of drive-by shootings in South Central Los Angeles.
Yeah, and it's Crime Victims Week, and this
is National Crime Victims Week. So today we're here finishing up the week, and we'll have a candlelight vigil. We're just waiting for the sun to come down, and we will just commemorate and close the week in prayer. And it took 26 or 30 mothers to Sacramento to have a conference, and I took the Latin bus, and we're supposed to guide our Latino voices to learn how to speak up and bring their own issues to Sacramento and learn to speak for themselves so no one else is speaking for them.
That's beautiful, because it is a diversity issue, not just a crime issue.
Yes, definitely. The majority of the time it's all language speaking people that go to the conference, and I have taken on the job to make sure that the Latino voices are represented in Sacramento, and that they hear what our issues are and what our needs are from them. That no one else says, oh, well, we need this for the Latino community. That, they get to speak up, and they get to speak for their babies and what they really need in our community.
Wonderful. Well, I'm going to give you Dr. Marissa's Beneficial Presence on the Planet Award.
Thank you.
For the work that you're doing. I don't give it to all the guests, but I just love it when people, don't just shake their heads.
No.
And they do something about the pain, and they help other people who are in that situation. So
yes,
thank you for that.
No, thank you. And another thing about Laura, so we grew up in this community which is African American and Black. And if you see in my events, you'll always see Black and brown. So growing up with the African American community, I wanted to make sure that we stayed connected and that my familia did not take anger towards them. So all the work I do is always united. I had a twin sister who has died, passed on, Vicky Lindsay. And the healing came when Antonieta's son was killed right across the street. And she had a lot of anger towards African Americans. And when she seen that my vigil was mostly African Americans, and my youth group, which was African Americans, came and hugged her and embraced her, and the mothers came and prayed with us, And she said, today my healing started.
Oh,
Because all of those kids that came and embraced me, I knew that it was one African American and not a whole community.
Wow, you
So
just
that is the power
touched my
of Laura.
heart. Oh my goodness gracious. That's beautiful.
That's
I already gave you the award. I can't give you the award again.
No, that's just to show you that, you know, the power
but that's
of unity.
That is so.
Comes our councilman.
Oh, I already interviewed him just now.
But see, he's doing his rounds
He is,
too.
He's doing his rounds.
Yes, so yes.
So here we go. Peace in. Come on
Thank
in.
you.
You know how to do this. Get in the back, Karen. He come beside her and do the ending. I'm just finishing with her. So peace in. You just learned this.
Thank you.
Peace out. World peace through inner peace. Dr. Marissa reporting live, balancing out all the bad news with good news and good people.
That's right.
Thank you.
That was just the one you saw on stage.
And we all want the same
From
thing. What do we want? Healing, right? So, ¿qué es lo que queremos? Sanar. So, no importa que empiece yo en español o empiece ella en inglés. Queremos lo mismo.
These are all unsolved cases of the kids that have been murdered by violence.
She was taken away from us May 31st, 2020.
Buenas tardes, mi nombre es María Castro. Yo ya tengo dos angelitos en el cielo. Primero es Freddy Castro.
My name is Luz Reese, and I'm here because my son Roberto Bobby Reese was murdered 16 years ago. This kind of events are very important for us because we are here together. When we're home, we think that we're by ourselves. But I want to thank Adela for making these events, and I want to send a hug to all the moms that lost their kids and a family member to violence. I also want to ask to stop the violence. And thank you all for being here. You guys didn't lose a child, and it means a lot to us that you are here with us. Thank you so much.
Say and spell your name.
Kim, and last name McGill.
And what are you doing here today?
We're here, it's 30 days this week, of course, since two historic events, both the 92 LA uprising following the acquittal of all the officers, LAPD officers that brutally beat Rodney King, led to the largest mass uprising in United States history. And then also that same exact week, the 30th anniversary of the historic truce between the Crips and Bloods here on the east side of South Central Los Angeles. Since that time, things have improved in terms of the violence. The communities have held down a lot of their obligations to each other, and homicides are way, way down. But unfortunately, police violence, even though community homicides are down to the historic levels since the 1960s and 70s, police violence in LA County is up, and LAPD and LA County sheriffs continue to kill more people than any place else in the country, both in actual numbers and even in rates, outdoing many, many jurisdictions. So for those reasons, we have a lot to fight for still, and even a few deaths is way too many. 300 deaths a year is way, way too many. So we also are here to talk about all the people we've lost to both community and police violence today. And there's families coming to honor their loved ones, their friends, their sons, daughters, uncles, cousins, mothers, here today.
Wonderful. And it is National Crime.
Yeah, it's a National Crime Victims Awareness or Crime Victims' Rights, depending on who you talk to, week. I think it's historic also, and you should really talk to the folks behind me because they've been at the forefront of this. But for a long time, the so-called victims' rights movement was really a middle-class, wealthy, white movement, and was usually funded by law enforcement to push prisons and more police as the solution. But of course, most black, brown, indigenous, even poor white communities and families were burying one child in the ground one day and burying another child in prison the next. And so they knew that the solutions we needed were healthcare, mental health, housing, jobs, hope in the streets, something better besides the frustration that leads to violence. So there's now a growing movement nationally that calls for both justice and public safety without an emphasis on cages and punishment. That focuses instead on mental health, on trauma recovery centers, on jobs, on housing, on the resources that our communities need. So that's part of what this week means too, is kind of a turning of the tide in terms of what it means to be fighting for not victims' rights but survivors' rights, and building communities that are just for everyone.
Beautiful. Thank you so much.
That was so important. I hope you heard that.
He was on the way to a job interview. He had gotten a new shirt and was really proud of the way he looked. He was at the bus stop waiting for the bus. Some guys.
The strength that you have. Together, you're unstoppable. Our loved ones are angels. You truly have angels, and they do watch over us.
I've met this wonderful woman who does amazing work so many times that we keep missing each other. But today, we've been at 3 places at the same time. I want her to introduce herself and tell me what your life's work is.
Okay, my name is LaWanda Hawkins. LaWanda is LaWanda, and I'm one of the founders of the organization called Justice for Murdered Children. We're a nonprofit organization that assists families that have had a loved one murdered. Today, I'm out here on April the 30th, celebrating National Crime Victims' Rights Week with my girlfriend, Adela. We're gonna shut it down. Tonight is the last night with a candlelight vigil. And we got families coming from everywhere to participate in this. This is awesome.
Yes, it is. And what is it that people don't really understand about victims and the survivors?
Somehow, crime victims, are being silenced with this soft on crime attitude. When we have an increase in crime in our community, violent crime. Unfortunately, there's an increase in our community in violent crime. And so by that being the case, I don't know how we can take that approach. There has to be something to make it safe for all. We have to consider the victims too, and they have to be brought to the table when any decision is being made regarding public safety. You have to include crime victims, and that seemed not to be the case. We see a lot of things go on and crime victims are not at the table, even though they're the ones who've been victimized by these crimes. We don't hear money coming from the crime victims. We didn't even hear them recognize it throughout the city, state, the county Crime Victims' Rights Week. So that tells you something is really, really wrong. I heard them mention National Pretzel Day, but they did not mention National Crime Victims' Rights Week. And to me, that's an insult, especially when I got all these people on my shirt, cases unsolved. And you don't even say anything. And this is from every community. So you got a lot of representation here of a lot of elected officials. And they did not say anything for National Crime Victims' Rights Week. They wouldn't recognize it. They don't want victims. Yeah, they're acting like, no, keep your quiet.
So these are all unsolved cases on your shirt?
Yes. All these people have been murdered on my shirt, and all their cases are unsolved, unfortunately. And this happens on a day-to-day basis. And the question is, do you know who murdered me? Yeah, that is the question. They want to know, do you know who murdered me? Tell my mama who murdered me. Yeah. What about my life?
And you started this organization how long ago?
Oh, this organization was started in 1996.
Wow, long time.
Unfortunately.
And why did you start it?
Unfortunately, my only child was murdered. And after that, I met a young lady named Vicky, and we felt we were left out the criminal justice system because people thought after you should murder your child, it should be over. And we felt, no, it should be a little bit more. Yeah, this is deep. This is not like you snatched our purse.
Right.
We killed our children. And so we didn't see it like people think we should see it. Because people thinking, oh, it should be over with, you need to get on, forgive, la la la. That's BS. I'm here to tell you that's BS.
Yeah. So, first of all, I'm sorry about your son. How old was he?
19.
Oh, wow. And how did he die?
He was shot.
in violence or gang violence?
I don't know. And let me say this in the question too. Every time we tell someone our loved one was murdered, they seem to ask, was it gang violence? That word seems to come up.
Okay.
Let me explain. That's an insult.
I'm sorry.
I know you know.
Thank you for educating me.
Because we have to talk about this. Because I know people don't mean no harm, but why do they think our children are only murdered because of gangs? Because somebody may be in a gang or the person is a gang, that does not justify it. And when we use that as a justification, it's just like us using the thing, oh, the girl had on a short skirt, that's why he did it, or the blue jeans was too tight, that's why he did it. Those things doesn't give justification for this behavior, this violent behavior. And so when we can't say, hey, you had on a short skirt, that's why he raped you, we don't say, hey, your child was a gangbanger, that's why he's murdered. We don't use those type of terms. We don't say, because it was a domestic violence, you got involved with this person. We don't say those things. And so we have to be careful. And I don't know why we use those terms when it comes to murder.
So help me.
So to me, it's just say,
say?
Just ask them, just like you would say, somebody said they were sick, or somebody, dog and cat was murdered. You wouldn't ask, was it a gangbang? You would just say,
how did he die?
How
did he die?
Yeah, and how did he die? He was killed by gun violence. He died due to gun violence.
And I'm still sorry.
I understand, but I want people to understand it. It's
and
very
this is why I do this.
It's very important.
We have the intention to be well-meaning,
but
we don't know.
I know it. It was just like at a time where it was okay to call people that looked like me the N-word, and it was accepted, and the person talking to me, the caster, would say it, and it would be all okay. But now we know that is unacceptable. Just like it should be unacceptable to be saying, was your child a gang banger, or was this gang related? We don't, and that's what I said. It desensitizes the crime. It puts a meaner on it where we don't get the right investigation. It creates a problem where lack of funding comes in. It creates a problem where cases are unsolved, like what you see on my shirt. Because somebody has justified these people being murdered. There's no justification.
It also adds to stereotyping.
It sure does.
And
discrimination and all that. It adds to it, and we don't believe in that as minorities. We don't need nobody else adding something else to it in the game. Thank you. Thank you for allowing me that opportunity.
No, thank you for helping educate me. I always ask my and I always ask my guests, to who or what are you most grateful for? That's my last question.
I'm most grateful for? Most grateful for this God and my mama and for my son. I thank God for him. I thank God that God gave him those 19 years. Oh, I'm so thankful that he gave them to me and chose me to be his mama. Out of all the people in the world, he could have chose anyone else, but that's what he said. He said, no, that lady right there.
His name?
Reginald.
Reginald.
Yeah,
so
Reginald.
We're gonna do a peace in, peace out to Reginald and your mama. Peace in, peace out, world peace through inner peace. This is Dr. Marissa reporting live with the founder of a very important organization. How can we support your organization?
Get involved, help us speak out against this violence. Everyone can help. Just stop posting, stop the violence, stop the killing. Call in when you hear something in your community about a murder. Call in and ask, what's going on with that murder? And bug them. Bug them. Stay on them.
And
that helps the family if you call in on our murders. It helps us. Because you as a community member, you have a right. This is public safety. You should.
Well, I'm out of time, so I'm going to have to. It was almost over. I'm so glad that I can bring you those stories. Hopefully you learned as much as I did that day. Truly, don't ask a mother who just had their child murdered if it was if it was gang related. Please help be the donor for bone marrow. Please support those politicians who really are about peace. The mayor, Karen Price. I'm so grateful that I could bring you this. I'm so grateful that you're still here. Go forth and multiply the peace that you are. This is Dr. Marissa reporting live from her loving room, wishing you the best day ever. See you tomorrow.